Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Cut down on. Make a reduction in. Cultivate, tend, and cut back the growth of. Thin and fit. A body kept trim by exercise. Cutting down to the desired size or shape. Neat and smart in appearance. A trim beard. Decorate, food, as with parsley or other ornamental foods. Remove the edges from and cut down to the desired size. Trim the photograph. Of places, characterized by order and neatness, free from disorder. A trim little sailboat. Severely simple in line or design. A decoration or adornment on a garment. The trimming on a hat. A state of arrangement or appearance. In good trim. Cut closely. Trim my beard. Adjust, sails on a ship, so that the wind is optimally used. Attitude of an aircraft in flight when allowed to take its own orientation. Balance in flight by regulating the control surfaces. Trim an airplane. Be in equilibrium during a flight. The airplane trimmed. Decorate, as with ornaments. Trim the Christmas tree. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. Move something or somebody to a lower position. Impose something unpleasant. Cause the downfall of rulers. Cause to come to the ground. Cause to be enthusiastic. The omission that is made when an editorial change shortens a written passage. Weed out unwanted or unnecessary things. We had to lose weight, so we cut the sugar from our diet. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. The employer wants to cut back health benefits. The act of penetrating or opening open with a sharp edge. His cut in the lining revealed the hidden jewels. Made neat and tidy by trimming. In baseball, a batter's attempt to hit a pitched ball. He took a vicious cut at the ball. Used of rates or prices, reduced usually sharply. Lessen the strength or flavor of a solution or mixture. Cut bourbon. Cut and assemble the components of. Cut recording tape. Used of grass or vegetation, cut down with a hand implement or machine. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. The act of cutting something into parts. His cuts were skillful. Refuse to acknowledge. She cut him dead at the meeting. Turn sharply. Change direction abruptly. The car cut to the left at the intersection. Be able to manage or manage successfully. She could not cut the long days in the office. Mixed with water. Sold cut whiskey. A refusal to recognize someone you know. The act of shortening something by chopping off the ends. The barber gave him a good cut. Sports. A stroke that puts reverse spin on the ball. Cuts do not bother a good tennis player. Style and tailor in a certain fashion. Cut a dress. With parts removed. The drastically cut film. A wound made by cutting. He put a bandage over the cut. Create by duplicating data. Cut a disc. Cease, stop. Cut the noise. Cut off the testicles, of male animals such as horses. A piece of meat that has been cut from an animal carcass. Make out an issue. Cut a ticket. A trench resembling a furrow that was made by erosion or excavation. A remark capable of wounding mentally. The unkindest cut of all. Intentionally fail to attend. Cut class. A distinct selection of music from a recording or a compact disc. He played the first cut on the CD. The division of a deck of cards before dealing. He insisted that we give him the last cut before every deal. Of a male animal, having the testicles removed. A cut horse. Cuz to stop operating by disengaging a switch. Cut the engine. A canal made by erosion or excavation. Allow incision or separation. This bread cuts easily. An unexcused absence from class. He was punished for taking too many cuts in his math class. A share of the profits. Everyone got a cut of the earnings. A step on some scale. He is a cut above the rest. Discharge from a group. The coach cut 2 players from the team. Dissolve by breaking down the fat of. Soap cuts grease. Divide a deck of cards at random into 2 parts to make selection difficult. Wayne cut. Fashioned or shaped by cutting. A well-cut suit. Fell by sawing, hew. The Vietnamese cut a lot of timber while they occupied Cambodia. Film. An immediate transition from one shot to the next. The cut from the accident scene to the hospital seemed too abrupt. Form by probing, penetrating, or digging. Cut a hole. Form or shape by cutting or incising. Cut paper dolls. Function as a cutting instrument. This knife cuts well. Give the appearance or impression of. Cut a nice figure. Grow through the gums. The new tooth is cutting. Have a reducing effect. This cuts into my earnings. Have grow through the gums. The baby cut a tooth. Hit a ball with a spin so that it turns in the opposite direction. Cut a ping pong ball. Make an abrupt change of image or sound. Cut from one scene to another. Make an incision or separation. Cut along the dotted line. Make a recording of. Cut the songs. Move one's fist. His opponent cut upward toward his chin. Pass directly and often in haste. We cut through the neighbor's yard to get home sooner. Pass through or across. The boat cut the water. Penetrate injuriously. The glass from the shattered windshield cut into her forehead. Perform or carry out. Cut a caper. Reap or harvest. Cut grain. Record a performance on a medium. Cut a record. Separated into parts or laid open or penetrated with a sharp edge or instrument. The cut surface was modeled. Separate with or as if with an instrument. Shorten as if by severing the edges or ends of. Cut my hair. Stop filming. Cut a movie scene. The act of reducing the amount or number. The mayor proposed extensive cuts in the city budget. The style in which a garment is cut. A dress of traditional cut. Of pages of a book, having the folds of the leaves trimmed or slit. The cut pages of the book. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. The employer wants to cut back health benefits. Cultivate, tend, and cut back the growth of. Place restrictions on. Return in time. The film cut back to an earlier event in the story. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. Intercept, a player. Cut with sweeping strokes, as with an axe or machete. Cause to come or go down. Cause to fall by or as if by delivering a blow. Cut with a blade or mower. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. Reduce your daily fat intake. Take off weight. Be cooked until very little liquid is left. The sauce should reduce to 1 cup. Lessen the strength or flavor of a solution or mixture. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. Be the essential element. Put down by force or intimidation. Make smaller. Reduce an image. To remove oxygen from a compound, or cause to react with hydrogen or form a hydride, or to undergo an increase in the number of electrons. Narrow or limit. Reduce the influx of foreigners. Cook until very little liquid is left. The cook reduced the sauce by boiling it for a long time. Reduce in size. Reduce physically. Bring to humbler or weaker state or condition. He reduced the population to slavery. De-stress and thus weaken a sound when pronouncing it. Lessen and make more modest. Reduce one's standard of living. Lower in grade or rank or force somebody into an undignified situation. She reduced her niece to a servant. Make less complex. Reduce a problem to a single question. Reposition, a broken bone after surgery, back to its normal site. Simplify the form of a mathematical equation of expression by substituting one term for another. Undergo meiosis. The cells reduce. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. Cultivate, tend, and cut back the growth of. Sever or remove by pinching or snipping. Terminate or abbreviate before its intended or proper end or its full extent. Run at a moderately swift pace. A metal frame or container holding cartridges can be inserted into an automatic gun. An instance or single occasion for some event. He could do 10 at a clip. The act of clipping or snipping. An article of jewelry that can be clipped onto a hat or dress. Any of various small fasteners used to hold loose articles together. A sharp slanting blow. He gave me a clip on the ear. Attach with a clip. Clip the papers together. Cultivate, tend, and cut back the growth of. The yield from plants in a single growing season. Let feed in a field or pasture or meadow. Prepare for crops. Feed as in a meadow or pasture. A pouch in many birds and some lower animals that resembles a stomach for storage and preliminary maceration of food. A collection of people or things appearing together. The annual crop of students brings a new crop of ideas. A cultivated plant that is grown commercially on a large scale. Cut short. She wanted her hair cropped short. The output of something in a season. The latest crop of fashions is about to hit the stores. The stalk or handle of a whip. Yield crops. This land crops well. Cultivate, tend, and cut back the growth of. Dress the plants in the garden. Suitable for formal occasions. A full dress uniform. Kill and prepare for market or consumption. Dress a turkey. A one-piece garment for a woman, has skirt and bodice. Of an occasion, requiring formal clothes. A dress dinner. Put on clothes. We had to dress quickly. Decorate, food, as with parsley or other ornamental foods. Clothing in general. Fastidious about his dress. Provide with clothes or put clothes on. Parents must feed and dress their child. Arrange in ranks. Dress troops. Dress or groom with elaborate care. She likes to dress when going to the opera. Provide with decoration. Dress the windows. Give a neat appearance to. Dress the horses. Dress in a certain manner. She dresses in the latest Paris fashion. Arrange attractively. Dress my hair for the wedding. Clothing of a distinctive style or for a particular occasion. Battle dress. Apply a bandage or medication to. Dress the victim's wounds. Convert into leather. Dress the tanned skins. Cut down rough-hewn lumber to standard thickness and width. Put a dressing on. Dress the salads. Put a finish on. Dress the surface smooth. Cultivate, tend, and cut back the growth of. Cut off from a hole. Weed out unwanted or unnecessary things. Cultivate, tend, and cut back the growth of. Dried plum. Cultivate, tend, and cut back the growth of. Sever or remove by pinching or snipping. A small piece of anything, especially a piece that has been snipped off. The act of clipping or snipping. Not taken up by scheduled activities. Spare time on my hands. Thin and fit. The spare figure of a marathon runner. Refrain from harming. Lacking embellishment or ornamentation. An extra car wheel and tire for a four-wheel vehicle. Give up what is not strictly needed. He asked if they could spare one of their horses to speed his journey. More than is needed, desired, or required. Sleeping in the spare room. An extra component of a machine or other apparatus. Lacking in magnitude or quantity. A spare diet. A score in 10 pins, knocking down all 10 after rolling 2 balls. Kept in reserve especially for emergency use. A spare tire. Save or relieve from an experience or action. I'll spare you from having to apologize formally. Use frugally or carefully. An excerpt cut from a newspaper or magazine. He searched through piles of letters and clippings. Cutting down to the desired size or shape. The act of clipping or snipping. Cutting down to the desired size or shape. A decoration or adornment on a garment. The trimming on a hat. The act of adding decoration. The children had to be in bed before it was time for the trimming of the tree. Neat and smart in appearance. A clean-cut and well-bred young man. Clear and distinct to the senses, easily perceptible. A spire clean-cut against the sky. Neat and smart in appearance. The trig corporal in his jaunty cap. The mathematics of triangles and trigonometric functions. Decorate, food, as with parsley or other ornamental foods. Take a debtor's wages on legal orders, such as for child support. His employer garnished his wages in order to pay his debt. Any decoration added as a trimming or adornment. Something, such as parsley, added to a dish for flavor or decoration. Decrease gradually or bit by bit. Strip the skin off. Pare apples. Remove the edges from and cut down to the desired size. Pare one's fingernails. Cut small bits or pare shavings from. Of places, characterized by order and neatness, free from disorder. Even the barn was shipshape. Of places, characterized by order and neatness, free from disorder. Kept in good condition. Of clothing, custom made. Severely simple in line or design. A neat tailored suit. A decoration or adornment on a garment. A state of arrangement or appearance. Cut closely. Cut the price of. The act of removing hair with a razor. Cut or remove with or as if with a plane. The machine shaved off fine layers from the piece of wood. Make shavings of or reduce to shavings. Shave the radish. Remove body hair with a razor. Touch the surface of lightly. His back shaved the counter in passing. Lacking excess flesh. Jan Cassius has a lean and hungry look. The property possessed by a line or surface that departs from the vertical. Containing little excess. A lean budget. Have a tendency or disposition to do or be something, be inclined. Cause to lean to the side. To incline or bend from a vertical position. She leaned over the banister. Cause to lean or incline. He leaned his rifle against the wall. Not profitable or prosperous. A lean year. Rely on for support. We can lean on this man. Lacking in mineral content or combustible material. Lean or. Lacking excess flesh. You can't be too rich or too thin. Not dense. A thin beard. Take off weight. Lacking substance or significance. A thin plot. Without viscosity. The blood was flowing thin. Lessen the strength or flavor of a solution or mixture. Very narrow. A thin line across the page. Lacking spirit or sincere effort. A thin smile. Lose thickness. Become thin or thinner. Make thin or thinner. Of relatively small extent from one surface to the opposite or in cross-section. Thin wire. Of sound, lacking resonance or volume. A thin feeble cry. Relatively thin in consistency or low in density, not viscous. Air is thin at high altitudes. Put things or places in order. Of hair, neat and tidy. Large in amount or extent or degree. A tidy sum of money. Marked by order and cleanliness in appearance or habits. A tidy person. Receptacle that holds odds and ends, as sewing materials. Not mixed with extraneous elements. Plain water. Express complaints, discontent, displeasure, or unhappiness. My mother complains all day. Clearly revealed to the mind or the senses or judgment. Made his meaning plain. Free from any effort to soften to disguise. The plain and unvarnished truth. Lacking embellishment or ornamentation. A plain hairstyle. Unmistakably, plain is often used informally for plainly. You are plainly wrong. Extensive tract of level open land. They emerged from the woods onto a vast open plain. Lacking patterns especially in color. Lacking in physical beauty or proportion. A plain girl with a freckled face. A basic knitting stitch made by putting the needle through the front of the stitch from the left-hand side. Not elaborate or elaborated, simple. Plain food.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.